So I thought I would center us back into some of the introduction slides that Kelly and Lola showed this morning, thinking about, again, what's at the core of biomaterials research, and education and community outreach were kind of listed at the fringes, but we won't have biomaterials research if we're not educating future scientists and engineers into this community. And it makes not only the education, but the outreach piece, as we all know, look at what's happening. How do we convince the public, our family, friends, our not family, our not friends, how important biomaterials research is to the world and to human health? So, our core thought of a few key questions that we want to sort of whet your palate a little bit before we have our speakers. How are we training and how do we best train this future generation of biomaterials scientists? How do we get out of our own bubble? How do we approach our biomaterials work with something bigger, better, broader in mind, be it translation, being it applying computational tools, be it industry? How do we extend beyond our typical university academic reach? And how do we improve our knowledge sharing about what we're discovering at the bench and in the lab across both unique and shared approaches? So it's not just me. Oh, I'm Shelley Payton. I'm a biomedical engineer at Tufts, part of the leadership team of the Educational and Community Outreach. We have a great team, Brian Aguado here from UC San Diego, Elizabeth Gonzalez-Fernandez from the University of Texas at Austin, have all been working tirelessly to put this session together and to sort of launch some of these education and community outreach elements. We have some amazing speakers today who are not only going to be talking about their research, but also how to broaden the reach of what they're doing in the lab to this next generation of scientists, and we will introduce them all individually. But before I pass the baton, I thought I would give you a moment to go ahead and scan this QR code. Every panel today is going to do this a little differently. And you can go ahead, and as you're listening to the questions or listening to the talks that we have, start going ahead and submitting your questions to the panel, whatever comes up. And we'll be flooded with a lot of questions, and we'll pick out those that have been shared perhaps and highlight those as part of our panel discussion. Maybe we'll bring this back later, or if you're successful, share it with the other people at your table. Okay, so I'm going to pass it off to Brian Aguado, who's going to introduce our first speaker of the day.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. So for those that don't know me, I'm Brian. It's my special pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, Tomas Gonzalez-Fernandez. He joined Lehigh University's Department of Bioengineering in 2022. And his research is focused on engineering novel smart materials and stem cells to promote regeneration of musculoskeletal tissues. And he uses a variety of different synthetic biology and 3D printing techniques. But one awesome thing about Tomas is that he's also a committed educator and innovates in the classroom to expand access to biomedical education through online lectures and social media. He's currently teaching a physiology class, he tells me, but I think a lot of his different teaching methods are transferable to biomaterials, so hopefully we'll learn a lot from him today. And for his efforts, he was awarded a Teaching Innovation Faculty Fellowship from Lehigh and was most recently landed an SF Career Award for being a second, yeah. So I think with that, let's invite him up to the stage. Thanks, Tomas.
Okay, hi everyone, and thank you for being here, and thank you, Brian, and everyone in the Education Corps for the invitation. So I'm just going to tell you what I do to have fun with my students and to have fun myself, because I think this is all about teaching, right? Like, how can we have fun and learn at the same time, right? So first of all, when I was preparing this presentation, I asked myself, why do I like teaching, right? Like, because some people like it, some people don't like it, right? Like, and what is my motivation to spend all the time and all the effort that I spend in teaching? And the answer is because I want to achieve these good teachable moments. So these teachable moments are these light bulb moments in which you understand an idea. And I'm sure all of you can relate to this. So these are these personal aha moments when someone is explaining to you something, or you are listening to a conference talk, and you suddenly understand everything that that person was saying, right? And these were defined by Robert Havighurst in the 1950s as the understanding or learning something at the right time. And I like the understanding something at the right time. And they are very important because thanks to these moments are going to provide a very meaningful learning experience. And they are going to be long-lasting, and they are going to have a deeper meaning that then we can apply not only to the course that we're studying, but also to our research or academic lives. So these teachable moments, they have specific characteristics that make them very difficult to achieve. So the first one is that they are spontaneous and unplanned. So you cannot really plan in the classroom when these moments are going to happen. So they just like sort of pop up, right? And they are very context dependent. Because they are unplanned, they can happen anywhere, but at the same time they build up. Right, it's not that they just happen one day. There is a lot of things behind them for them to happen. They are also at the student level, so they are user-specific or learner-specific, and they are these personal aha moments that you can only have by yourself. Also, students need to be engaged and receptive to what you're saying in order to produce these moments. And unfortunately, all of these characteristics make these moments really difficult to achieve, right? So I'm just going to tell you a couple of things that I like to do in my classes in order to capture these teachable moments that are really difficult to achieve. How can we provide those teachable moments not only in the classroom, but also outside the classroom, right? How can we break with those walls and take it beyond the classroom time? So I do these on-demand interactive lectures, so I'm going to talk a lot about that. Then I also do hands-on demonstrations in class with different prompts and devices. And I also use a lot of student driving examples. So what do you want to learn? Students send me a lot of emails every week about things that they want to cover in my classes. So first of all, I wanted to tell you a little bit how I arrived to all these techniques. So when I started as an assistant professor in 2022, I had a very limited teaching experience. So I was a teaching assistant during my PhD, and that was it. But then I was just thrown into giving this huge course, engineering fundamentals for physiology. It's a 4-credit class for sophomores. It's a lot of content because we go through all the systems and organs in the body. And I know about cartilage and bone, but I cannot explain how the kidney work, right? Like when I was assigned this course. And I received a very dated slide deck from the previous professor that used the same slides for 10 years. So when I received, and it was like hundreds and hundreds of slides, and I was just very lost. And I spent a very significant portion of my time preparing this course, updating the slides and going to the textbook, trying to understand all the systems. And that was a lot of work and very challenging. And I was not even understanding what I wanted to explain, right? And despite all the work that I put in updating the slides and building the book, when I went to the classroom, I didn't feel that I was providing that good teachable moment to my students. I couldn't feel that the students were learning what I was trying to tell them. So as part of this preparation for the course, and I think this happened because I was not understanding the content either, right? So this took me to the material developed by my physiology professor during my undergrad in Spain. During my undergrad, I had an amazing human physiology professor, Noelia Valle. And she spent a lot of time making these videos. And what I discovered is that I was, instead of understanding the concepts through the book and the slides, I was going back to the videos, and I was understanding everything through her videos that were in YouTube. So here is her YouTube channel. It's in Spanish, so this also fits into why I did what I did. So Noelia began making these videos in 2018. So when I was in her class, it was back in 2009, 10. We continue our relationship through the years. She was my professor in rock climbing, and I did a lot of rock climbing with her during my undergrad. She started making these videos in 2018, first like with the shower curtain, right? And then during the pandemic, as many in your institutions, they got like this magic board, and I'm going to talk a bit more about that. And then in 2020, all these videos and the video content exploded. And currently she has more than 150 videos, and she focuses in this format that tries to make complex topics easy to understand for the students. And her teaching philosophy has two elements. First of all, the classroom should have no walls, right? Like, so we should take the teaching beyond the classroom. And also that our job is not to read a slide, right? Like, our job is to tell a story and make the students understand what we are telling them in that story. So she has won numerous prizes in Spain and in Europe, and she has accomplished really amazing things with this strategy. So after putting all this work into going into the book and the power presentations and everything, it was really when I watched her videos in Spanish when I understood what I was teaching. So then I had numerous teachable moments. I had numerous aha moments watching her videos, so I couldn't understand, for example, the multiplier, the contracurrent multiplication system in the kidneys, and after watching her video once, I completely understood it. And I was wondering, how can I provide the same experience to my students in the US? Because sadly, they cannot watch these videos because they are in Spanish. So this is what happened. So with her help, I developed my own videos based on my course syllabus and the teaching objectives that I wanted to achieve. So I'm sure you have seen this before, but I just wanted to go through a couple of points that I think this makes unique. This strategy unique. So right now I have around 50 videos that span every system in the body, and you can check out my YouTube channel here. Not that many subscribers or views, but hey, I think my students like it. And then, so I didn't include like full videos.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another class of physiology for engineers by Professor Gonzalez-Fernandez at Lehigh University. Today we're going to talk about the nervous impulse, how the nervous impulse is originated and then is transmitted through the axonal body to the next neuron. So there are two different processes that we need to understand in order to address this nervous impulse.
Okay, so my videos start like that, and then like we go into...
So this increasing pressure is what makes for the bulbs, the semilunar bulbs, to open and allow for this blood to flow into the arteries. And this fourth phase here is called the ejection phase.
Okay, so then we also have the immune system.
So the process of netosis or net formation, it's kind of very interesting, but it's a bit complicated. So what is going to happen is that these neutrophils are going to secrete their chromatin, and in the chromatin we are going to find also different proteins from the bacteria, and also different proteins that are going to destroy the bacteria.
So also, and this was explaining the concept of stenosis this morning, so I included this.
That if the vessel diameter, if the diameter of the lumen is really small, all the blood is going to be in contact with here the borders of the vessel, and that's therefore going to increase the friction and going to increase the resistance. And this happens because of this relationship here.
Right, so this is just a small taste of the videos. Each video is like 10 minutes long, but I just wanted to provide you like a bit of like how they look like. So why did I start making my own teaching videos and spending all this the time? So first of all, I wanted to deliver these explanations to my students in an accessible and reproducible way that they could just like watch at their own pace. Also support the learning process of the students beyond the classroom, so just not like be just like confined in my classroom time and the capacities of the classroom. Also, I wanted to reclaim 2 elements for teaching, the blackboard and the chalk, but just like give them a modernized twist, right? In this process, the glassboard is essential. For example, I was very lucky that Lehigh put this DIY video recording studio. It's a smaller board than the one that Noelia has, but it's just okay. And this is really important because it enables storytelling and builds understanding step by step. And it develops the ideas organically and visually, right? And at the end of the class, you have the full picture of the lesson that you just explained. And most important, so this is very different in comparison to other videos in which people are just turning their backs to to write something in the whiteboard or the blackboard, or also those videos in which you see a hand. And I think this is very interesting because here in these videos, the importance of body language and also the importance of eye contact with the student, even though it's through a screen, is really important. And that is better for student engagement and maintaining the attention. And it also makes the students feel that the videos are just made for themselves, right? So this is just made for you. Your professor is making this for you so you can study and pass the exam, right? There are some concerns that my several professors that I talked to and my other people in the college raised. So first of all, this is a lot of work. It is a lot of work, not going to lie, but it also cuts your class prep time. So when I'm preparing a class, I just watch the video for 10 minutes when I'm having breakfast, and then I develop the whole lecture afterwards. And also, you gain time on class because you are saving a lot of time in the classroom to do other stuff that is a better use of our class time. Also, another concern is the students are not going to come to class, and also this is going to decrease the value of in-person teaching. And this is easy to address because then we can transform the classroom into a different space where we can apply the content and we can experiment and we can engage the students, do demonstrations, work group. Also, this is another one. Why should the students pay your course credits if they are free on YouTube? So this is not, they are not a replacement. They are a support of the classroom. They still need to watch the videos, they need to do homework, they need to engage, apply the question, develop critical thinking, right? So this is just an extension of what we look in the classroom. And also another one, this is already done. You can find all this content already in YouTube. So how many times have you tried to look for an image in Google and you couldn't find for hours and hours what you wanted, right? So this is because it's difficult to find good quality content in YouTube and social media that aligns with your syllabus and also your learning objectives, right? And for example, the videos that Noelia did are good for biology, or there are a lot of videos for anatomy and medical school, but I wanted to develop videos for engineers, right? For biomedical engineers, where I could go into what I consider was important for them to learn. So I collected this data. So I've been applying this for 2 years, and I collected some data through student evaluations that demonstrate that this is a good, I'm sorry, I don't have access to GrabPad in my personal computer, so I put this quickly back. I asked, the first time that I surveyed the student was in 2023, and I started with grad students and seniors, and I asked them if the videos enhance their learning experience. Most of them agree or strongly agree, and also I asked them if the videos were more engaging than traditional slides, and most of them also agreed or strongly agreed. I repeated this in 2024 with sophomores. So sophomores are the real deal, most of them also thought that the videos enhanced their learning experience, and they also prefer this format to traditional PowerPoint presentations. And I also, through comments and feedback with the students, I understand that the students were using the videos a lot for the exam, and I could see how the grades were much higher the year that I started using the videos than the year before. And I asked them about the exam, and so this is facilitated your study for the exam, definitely. So I strongly agree, and agree almost 90%. And also I asked them if more audiovisual materials will help outcomes in other classes, and more of them agree as well. So the data is there. I'm still surveying the students. I'm doing a really bad job at this, but like I'm trying. And most importantly as well, so the comment section of the evaluation, right? Like, so what aspect of this course and your instructor's teaching helped the most? Sorry, it's very small. So you know how difficult it is to get like a comment from a student in one of these evaluations? Here I got like 20 different comments, and most of them were for the videos. I selected some here, so incredibly helpful, reinforced concepts, helped the most, rewatched them multiple times before the class and again after the in the exam. Videos were amazing. The videos were very well made and organized for easy understanding. So I think that the students really appreciate this, even though it's a lot of work and effort. So in my class on Thursday, I told the students that I was canceling the class today because I was doing this talk. One of the students sent me this email. He probably wants an A in the class, but I think it's a nice email to show. Like, because he really likes it, that he can watch it at his own pace. And also, and this is really important, so the high production quality of the video resources made me feel as engaged as I would have been in person lecture. So we are achieving that, breaking the walls of the classroom and taking the learning experience beyond the classroom time, right? So, but not everything is a fairy tale, so I encounter a lot of problems doing this. For example, the online teaching system is difficult to support video formats. We use this thing called Coursite, I hate it. Mixed experience with the students making their own videos. Flipped classroom, they hate this, they don't do a good job. How to make sure the students are watching the videos. So I developed this homework that is called lecture notes, in which they have to build their notes with the videos and the books and submit them every week. Very important. So you notice I'm from Spain and I have a very thick Spanish accent. So YouTube has a problem with this, and they cannot catch my accent, and we can have like weird results. So some students were just like taking like transcribing the videos, and the results were funny. And video editing is very time-consuming, more time-consuming than making the videos. So for a 15 minutes video, I'm using around an hour and a half. So 45 minutes for preparation, 45 minutes recording. The editing takes me a long time, and also the sound needs editing, which and then also there are lack of institutional resources. Like I was lucky that I got a teaching award for $500. This doesn't take you long because editing a 15 minutes video is $500, you know, so it's really complication. I honestly don't know what to do with this. This money is still sitting there waiting for a use. So also I need to be better at monitoring and surveying the students. And what's next? So I want to take the classroom to the doctor's office and make these videos directly with the clinicians in their offices to look at the devices that they use, like the different questions that they have, right? Like to break further that wall and take them to a real contact experience with the clinicians. Also, video collaborations with experts in each topic, and most important, like for my 2 NSF grants, like the outreach component is the videos in my channel. So how can biomaterials be used for increasing the precision and the safety of CRISPR therapies? And the idea is like as we publish papers, we'll do these videos with my grad students as an outreach material. And finally, Noelia and I talk very often, and we are trying to write together a paper to publish in an educational journal. Okay, so one of the great advantages of these videos is that you are going to gain a lot of time in the classroom. So what do we do with that extra time, right? So I do 2 different things, the hand-on demonstrations and also the student-driven examples. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about this. So first of all, I use a lot of prompts, right? Because in physiology, I'm doing all these schematics, but I don't show PowerPoint slides, so you don't know how the tissues look like. So I got all these different anatomical models. I have lots of them from the previous instructor. I think they are from the 80s, and they were in medical school because they smell like formal. But they are amazing because you can open them up, and this is like an example of like what I do with the students with the models, right? Like, so we use them for the classes and also for the lab. models for a start. But yes, we use them as a support to explain. We can open them and then signal different areas. Like, this is amazing. You can open it up. Like, use this femur that is based on an X-ray that I got from another professor. So a lot of stuff. But what I like the most is like to work with the clinical devices in the classroom that the students are usually exposed to. So I do a lot of work with the spirometer. So all of this I get from Amazon, and they are very cheap. And every semester I get a new toy for this. So the spirometer is like the pulmonary test. It's like to calculate different pulmonary functions. And I usually compare different types of athletes, and the students love this type of competition, like rowers versus soccer players, or compared to older people, me. And also understand the different factors that affect these values and calculations. So again, all these devices are in Amazon. This year I got one to measure muscle fatigue, right? So also the blood glucose monitoring, I really like this one because the diabetic students, they love to show their peers their morning routine, right? So it's like, yeah, I do this every day, right? Like, and they don't mind showing it and doing so. This is to measure the glucose concentration in blood, and we usually compare students that had breakfast versus no breakfast, or different types of breakfast, fruit versus a croissant, right? And then also diabetic versus non-diabetic if the diabetic students want to share their experience with this assay. So this was $21 in Amazon. And also I use a lot the sphygmomanometer that is to measure blood pressure, and this is something that you're exposed to like when you go to the doctor. And this is to measure diastolic and systolic pressure, and we analyze the different components of the device. Also we do a bit of role play, like patient versus nurse, and like getting the values and what those values are calculated and what they mean for vascular health, and this was like $25. So this is very different to a lab, right? Like, because in the lab we use BioPack and a specific software that is very different to these devices that the students use in the daily basis. So this is more relatable to the students to what they do. And then every time that they go to the doctor, or their parents go to the doctor, or they see another student taking a glucose measurement, they know what's happening, right? Or when they get a measurement of systolic pressure, they know what happened. So if their parents don't go to the doctor and they get like really high systolic pressure, and they tell their parents, oh yeah, that means that maybe you, then I feel that my teaching worked, right? So the other thing that I do very often is the student-driven examples and clinical cases, like what do you want to learn? And this is connecting the lectures and the homework to the experiences and interests to the students. So like at the start of the course, I always had the students like, hey, like you can send me an email at any time of whatever you want to learn. And they often, like I got like one or two emails per topic per week. So the students really like that, and this is a comment that the students feel listened, and I value their opinions and what they want to achieve through their learning. So, for example, we valued in asking us if there were any specific topics we wanted to learn about, and then integrated that into his lessons. And I'm going to give you some examples this semester. So we went through the knee joint. So this student wanted to know more about a dislocated shoulder. So we went through the shoulder anatomy and compared it to the knee. Also, this student had this weird, when we were going through the immune system, this weird allergy to cold that is called urticaria. So we went through that, very interesting as well. I think like the students learn a lot about macrophages and their interaction with receptors in the skin. And also, like when I went to the brain this year, they asked me to go through OCD and ADHD. And I had like a really good example this year. So there was this student athlete, and there was a brand that contacted her to promote a specific thing. We'll look at it for her, like to advertise in her social media. And she wanted to know if this was based in science or not. So the company is like this, it's called Firefly. So they use what they call photobiomodulation. So we went through this in class, and I don't know if you remember this thing that was very famous in the 2000s. So, okay, there is a bit of clinical evidence on this Firefly thing, but also it's similar to this that was not working. Anyways. So I'm sorry if there is anyone with that makes business with a company here. But so what do you want to learn? So also I try to connect the homework to the lectures and social media and current scientific topics. So this is good for developing the critical thinking and applying the concepts that we do in class. So I do a lot of social media posts. The students are obsessed about like muscle building supplements, both male and female. So we do a lot of these posts and we analyze them in depth. I love this example about Bikram yoga. So this is the yoga that you do at really high temperature, and what's the effect of that in sweat production and kidney function, for example. And also this year we went through the approval of the first CRISPR therapy, Casgevy, that was in December. So I try to every year to update my homework as like these new discoveries and new exciting things come up. And I also ask the students to analyze some social media posts as well with a critical eye. So providing teachable moments is difficult, but it's worth it. Like I love when I see in my student faces that they are understanding what I'm trying to tell them, and then when I go through their homework and like they are applying the concepts and understanding what I'm saying, and also when they come to me and said, yes, like thanks to your videos, I passed the exams for med school. Like I really like that. New approaches are needed, so I went back to the roots, but with a modernized twist. Making your own videos is a lot of work, so before you jump into this, make sure that you're going to use them for a long time, right? And that your department chair is not going to move you around. Also, if you can get some institutional support, like getting some teaching freedom while you're making them, that would be awesome. I didn't have that, but I survived. And then also putting work into this will save you time, your own time, and also the students' time, less class prep and more time in the class for doing other things. And the videos, they are not a replacement for the class, they are a support, so this is really important. And also, finally, we need to apply more personalized teaching for the students to engage them and maintain their attention. So I wanted to acknowledge all the amazing professors that I had. So Noelia during my undergrad, and Connor Buckley during my grad school in Dublin, and also my teaching assistants and graders, especially this semester, Chibuka and Maggie, because they tried to like put a grade into my crazy ideas, right, which is not easy to grade sometimes. And also my funding sources and Lehigh for the teaching support. And finally, yes, if you have any questions or discussions, I'll be happy to answer any. Okay? Thank you.
All right, any questions? That was amazing, Tomas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was fantastic. I follow a similar like statistical genetics kind of video series from UNC, and they're about 10, 15 minutes long. And this person always does something silly in the middle of the video to keep people's attention.
Yeah.
Like, do you find yourself doing those kind of things as well? Like playing music or,
No.
singing and things like that? Okay.
No, I know that people do that. Like in the videos, like when I want to have a video, I just want to compress the information as much as I can. Maybe I'll tell a story or do something like during the class time, but like for the videos, I want to keep it as short as possible because like I'll rather gain like 30 seconds rather than play music or something. But I know that's also a strategy to gain time, but I personally don't do it. Yeah, it's not my style. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome talk. Thanks again for sharing. Beyond the assessment that your TAs have done, have you developed any creative assessment beyond just testing, sitting at a table for your students?
So that's a good question, and I've tried, and it's just difficult to develop because the students, when a student doesn't get the grade that they think they deserve, then the student will come complaining, right? And you need to have like a good table, right? Like of what everything means. So I tried to do it, and at the start it was very difficult, and then I moved towards, okay, let's try to make this more concrete, so I can give like percentages here and there, right? But yes, like for example, like in my graduate course, I do a lot of flipped classroom and a lot of like teamwork, and that's always a challenge. Also, like for the students, I have had many problems with the students working together as well, so I'm still working on that. Yes, I don't have a 100% answer for that yet.
Sorry, just to follow up, do you rely mostly on the traditional testing, multiple choice, free response?
Yes. So yes and no. So at the end of the day, I'm teaching physiology, so I cannot pass anyone in my class if they don't know how the heart cycle, heart beating cycle works, right? And so also, like I think like 30% of my students are pre-med. So they really need to learn it, right? But I think the exams are like 40% of the grade, and then the rest of it, 60% is more homework and in-class activities and things like that. So yes, they have to learn it. I don't want them to learn every single bone in the body. I don't want that. I just want them to understand the process, right? This is what I do. But they need to learn it. Yes.
Over here. That was really wonderful. Thank you for sharing, really inspiring teaching. So you mentioned how a lot of your students are med students. I'm wondering if you've done assessment in a different way, where like maybe looking at retention or seeing students either transferring majors, like if you have less of that, or they're becoming more biomedical engineers, or I'm just wondering if you've looked at that aspect.
Yes, so I haven't done that formally, but this is a great idea, and I'm going to copy it. Yes, I'll probably start doing that. I've noticed, like, I have lots of students. I have last year, I had some students from electrical engineering. I had 2 students, and then they changed to bioengineering, I think. And then I also have like many like these students are called ideas students, so they just choose whatever they want to learn, right? And then after this class, a lot of ideas students stayed in bioengineering as well. So, but I don't have numbers. I love to quantify that, and that's a great idea. I'll do it. Yeah, thanks.
To me, this is a comment, and just say amazing, awesome work, Tomas. And I would say, at least I'm at an institution where I'm given those resources. So we have a studio, I have somebody that edits my videos, I have a curriculum coordinator that can come in and design and go through all of this with me. And so that was the only way that I was able to completely, so I think I guess what I'm challenging, I think, our community to do is to really think about how we need to get into the 21st century of education. And so really only relying on lecture and pen and paper tests, that is not, I think we're limiting the potential and the access that we can have for just kind of bringing people into biomaterials. And so I applaud you for taking the time to do that, because I know all of the prep time and everything that it takes, and I had somebody editing everything for me. So again, I think just challenging those, particularly the leaders, deans that are in this really takes investment to be able to do this well, and then you can bring things like our entire BME program is going online. So we now have a fully online biomedical engineering program, which I think some of us think about that as more resistive potentially to that. I think we're thinking about the MOOCs, right? However, going through and doing exactly what you did, looking at the learning objectives and looking at how we can bring the classroom across the globe. It really is impactful when you start to teach people in other countries, and you have people in military, and et cetera. So I think it's really impactful, and so thank you for that.
Thank you, Sarah.